Reciprocity, right?
Yeah, we passed reciprocity. There's very little we didn't pass. We even passed the health care repeal of Obamacare. And, of course, McCain was the one to deep six that. But remember, I think the president has been saying accurately, more so, not just dumping on McCain, but dumping on the fact that not one Democrat stood up to support that. So remember that. Not one Democrat supported the repeal of Obamacare in the House. Not one Democrat supported the original tax cut that ultimately became law and is impacting us positively all across the nation. Not one in the House nor in the Senate.
Yeah. Well, the Democrats have been planning on raising taxes should they come back, right?
Yeah, they've got an official plan, right, Tim?
Yeah.
Well, that's what Nancy Pelosi has set down in the plan, and that's what my opponent and others will be voting on and supporting if they were to get elected. And again, that's why people, now it comes down to crunch time. I remember when I used to go on the wrestling mat, no matter what it was in practice, no matter how many guys had tried to take me out during the challenge day before the wrestling meet, I defeated them. Now I was on a mat. You forget about all that went on in the past. You leave the bitterness, the hurt, whatever. You leave it behind, and you get out there and you win on the mat. And the same thing is here. It's time to, it's crunch time. Win on the mat, because if we don't, the guy that you got in office, Donald Trump, who many people really worried about, but said, let's try something new, and now they've seen that all that he said he was going to do, he's attempted to do. The House has supported him in all of that, and what we've gotten through is actually working to the point this economy is great, our security is great, our military is resourced, not just the Pentagon, but the actual people out in the field, the commanders and the military personnel that's out there. And oh, by the way, their families have received a raise. All of that stuff is going on because of leadership that has stepped up to the plate and said, we said to the American people, we're going to do it, we're going to do it, and the only ones pushing back are the Democrats.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, Tim. Let's put ourselves 4 months out. And I'm praying and hoping to God that we have a don't lose the House.
Red wave.
That we pick up and get that red wave. I do have one concern that I would like to see addressed in 2019. Can we get the spending under control? You know, I know Trump, the last time I saw, he had not filled like 20,000 positions in the federal government. So that's down. He's doing his job not filling positions or whatever is going on there. But why is the spending still going up?
Why can't we get zero-based budgeting?
Well, again, we go back to the makeup of majorities in the House and Senate.
Yeah.
And that's the basic answer. Secondarily, you have an interest rate that continues to climb, not an interest rate, but interest paid on the debt that continues to climb unless you can start reducing the mandatory spending. That only comes by getting a full-blown budget that reduces not only discretionary spending but mandatory spending to the president. We have been successful for the first time in 22 years in getting 75% of the entire appropriations package to the president for signing, and that happened 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
That's the first time in 22 years. Now, we didn't get all 12 bills through. We got 75% of it, and all of those had reductions in it. The ones that remain are those toughest budgets that the Democrats absolutely would not support any way, shape, or form, any type of negotiation on it to the direction that we wanted to go. So hopefully, you guys, your lips to God's ears and to the voters' ears and to their fingers at the ballot box will give us a majority in the Senate that looks like we could possibly pick up 3 to 5 more seats. We keep the House so that we can move forward legislation to the Senate, who will then pass it with 60 votes, send it to the president. We can start to draw that down.
Okay, that sounds great. So, Tim, give us your website. Let's help you out a little bit here. Give us your website because Election Day is nearing, and we want people to help you out and think about you and read your positions and get the truth. What are your websites?
WalbergForCongress.com. That's my campaign website, WalbergForCongress.com, and for official purposes, Walberg.House.gov. But we need the help. We need people at the polls. We need yard sign spots. We need finances. All of that. The Democrats are raising huge dollars. They're motivated. When you have people like Barbara Streisand and other Democrat Hollywood people sending money directly to my opponent, and George Soros and Steyer and all of the rest, and Nancy Pelosi funneling about $600,000 toward her. That's a challenge that we have to face, but I've always said it takes less money to run on a good record than hide a bad record, and that's her problem, not my problem.
Great. All right, Tim, well, thank you so much for calling in, and we will see you next month, if not before. If you have something come up and you want to talk to us, make sure you just call into the show.
Look forward to it, and hopefully today Kavanaugh will be confirmed, and we can go on and maybe look for another Supreme Court justice appointment.
Yes, praying for it right now. Thank you, Tim. I appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
And
Have a great weekend.
Facebook can have more pictures of dogs and cats.
Exactly. So let's bring this. Folks, this is the time. It's not just you voting in November. You have to make sure your family is registered. I think it's probably already past the time.
Yes, it is.
We're not going to be able to register.
But wait a minute. Just a Democrat can show them how to get around that. Just
make sure you're talking it up to those people who are registered and can legally vote. 5 friends, 5 family members, 5 independents, and even talk to those Democrats. Sit down and have an honest. You don't have to push anything. Just make them explain. A lot of times they will not be able to back up and explain themselves, and that alone sets the light bulb off. And so you have to get out and campaign a little bit this year. This is when I know we say this almost every election, at least in the last 8 years anyways. This is the most important. This is because Donald Trump cannot do this alone. And if we lose the House, the only thing the Democrats will do in the House is go for impeachment and investigations and more nonsense. We will not get tax cut part 2, which makes they're going to push tax increases on us. And folks, if you like the way things are going, more jobs for everybody, more pay increases for everybody, you must keep control with the Republicans. You have to, folks. I know you're not always happy with them, but this is the option we have. Get out and campaign. Put those signs up. Make some phone calls. Talk to your family and friends. If you're at the gas pump, if you're at the bar, talk it up a little bit. Don't be afraid. You don't have to be mean about it. But talk nicely about, man, I'm very happy. Maybe try that optimistic. Man, I'm so happy that the unemployment. Just say it out loud.
It's so nice to have money in my pocket for gas.
Exactly, right? These are the things we have to do this time around. I feel like I'm always beating this horse to death. But this is the time, folks. We've got 30 days. 30 days to make sure we retain the House. And for the love of God, Michigan, please, let us not send Debbie Stabenow back to the Senate. John James is a veteran.
Throw some money his way for TV
He's a smart, caring individual. Try something different for a change. All right, until next week, go to thedailydrift.com. Take care.